Welcome to Kykar. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, I love it. We've got some wonderful turn one plays if we rip into a land off the top, but we're not going to be doing that. So let's go and mulligan on this one. And yes, we'll keep on this one. We've got some protection for Kykar. We have a counter spell and we have a talisman, so we're going to keep on this one. We did put one card on the bottom, and I think at this point right now, we're just going to put Shared Animosity on the... Yeah, I'm fine with that because that just, Impact Tremors allows us to kind of almost do the same thing, but over the course of a game. So we will make that work. So let's go lead off with Bloodstained Mire. In fact, let's go ahead and crack Bloodstained Mire. Grab ourselves probably a Steam Vents. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll have Steam Vents coming to play tapped. Not going to pay 2 life, and then anything else past the turn to our opponent. We're playing Baby Kykar. Doesn't have a word yet. Making little baby spirits. Let's make Kykar normal. That way we have a good chance at beating Glissa. Flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a woman white spirit creature token with flying. Then, if that wasn't enough, yes, we have Young Pyromancer. So, well, what we can do, yeah, let's crack Scalding Tarn. We're going to make sure we grab a white source. So let's go blue-white. And I don't want to click on the wrong land. Let's grab ourselves a Tundra. And then with the Tundra, yeah, I think if we're going to be playing cautious, I would much rather just get down Lightning Greaves, and then once we get down Young Pyromancer, we can build up a board state. So I feel better about that. So let's just go and pass the turn. So, but yeah, with Kykar, whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we get a 1/1 spirit, then sacrifice the spirit, add red mana to your mana pool. Playing gets Glissa the Traitor, which we will cover in a... Oh, there we go. And our opponent did end up tapping out. So let's have Young Pyromancer come down. Let's go for the Lightning Greaves. Feels good. And then anything else past turn to our opponent. So unfortunately we did miss our land drop, but it's not the end of the world. The main thing is we did get some sort of token enabler on the battlefield, and that will be Young Pyromancer. So, playing against Glissa the Traitor, which I do have a story about this exact promo card, and we'll cover that here in a second. Let's let them get that Signet down, First Strike and Death Touch, which is just way OP if you're getting into Magic. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So let's keep our fingers crossed we hit and land. All right, so we run into Path to Exile. What we can do on this one is... Yeah, let's do this. So let's go for Talisman. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. So we're going to go Talisman. They don't really have any protection from Glissa, and we've got double removal spells. So I think at this point, we'll just go and pass the turn. And thankfully, actually, yeah, we'll go and swing it for 2. Why not? Knock them down to 28 and then pass the turn. So we've got 2 double removal spells. That way, if they do end up going for Glissa, that will allow us to at least kind of keep her off the battlefield. Now, they do need double green to get her down. Reclamation Sage, the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So... might see them go for Talisman. That would definitely... Okay, they're going to go for Lightning Greaves. I like that. The good thing about that is that potentially we can set up a Path to Exile on one of our tokens. Not super wild about doing that to Young Pyromancer. All right, since they're going to go for that, we will definitely go for Path to Exile. So let's go for Path to Exile. That's going to give us an extra token, and at the same time, it's going to allow us to get a lane on the battlefield, which is pretty much what we need pretty bad. So we could go Mountain. We've got triple blue across our mana base. So I think at this point, we've got double... Yeah, we'll just go and grab a Mountain, because there is a little bit of double red in here. But at least we kind of made up for that last little lane drop. And we still have at least some sort of answer for Glissa's coming down, so... All right, so see what we draw into for the turn. Then we run into Recruiter of the Guard. Our opponent, I feel like that was a... If they've got spot removal, they've got it. Let's just kind of roll Kykar out and see what happens. And then we can kind of maybe end up going for... Let's make sure we tap down blue first. Let's go blue, red, and then white. And then there we go. All right, we'll get down Kykar. And if they've got removal, they've got it. If not, then we can kind of slowly build up our board state and hopefully kind of take over the game. So, but yeah, we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you join the Kykar Spirit Squad and cheer Kykar on from the sidelines, head over to MTGOTraders. We're definitely looking for some spirits that are cheerleaders, and we will sacrifice you for some red mana. That's something that sounds pretty good. Okay, opponent's going to have murder, so they did end up having an answer. So, but yeah, be sure to check out MTGOTraders. Also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. If you haven't treated yourself in a long time, make sure that you do. It's always nice to treat yourself. Get yourself a nice custom playmat or any of the cool accessories they have on their website, and use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order and help the channel at the same time. And last but not least, I started started a Patreon. So if you'd like to share me the credits, or if you'd like to get your hand on some of these sweet tokens I'm rolling out for the month, make sure that you are a patron of my Patreon. You will be automatically entered into the token giveaway. So it's officially free time. Let's have some fun. Yeah, I'm digging those tokens. They are a lot of fun, and I really like designing them too. And I have some other cool stuff I'm going to be working on into the future. So, all right, so we run into Force of Will. I guess at this point, we just go Recruiter of the Guard. I'm trying to figure out what we can grab with Recruiter of the Guard that sounds that good. We already got Young Pyromancer. I mean, we can leave up Arcane Denial to try to end up going for some sort of counter magic if we want to, but then that kind of leaves us on Force of Will with that. Yeah, let's just kind of see what let's see what we can kind of dig up with the Recruiter of the Guard. Not super wild about this play, but our opponent didn't really have much going on their side anyway, too. So kind of works out for both of us. Let's get this one popped out. So it's going to be Mausoleum Wonder, Monastery Mentor. Yeah, I think I kind of like Monastery Mentor because with Kykar going back to the command zone, that does allow us to kind of build up a very rough board state. So yeah, let's go for that. So let's grab ourselves Monastery Mentor, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn. At the very least, with Monastery Mentor, we can get that down, and yeah, we'll just go and hold back that Elemental that way. If Reclamation Sage decides to swing in, we'll at least have some sort of answer for it. So. And I do need to keep in mind, we have Force of Will and Arcane Denial online. But yeah, with those tokens, you know, for a very long time, like I probably started making tokens in my spare time probably about a year ago. But you know, finally during this break, if you didn't know, my wife and I had a baby named Loretta, and so I kind of took. That's why I've been running Spin the Wheels, as I took like 3 weeks off from channel. And prior to that, I had some Commander stuff banked up, so it's almost been about a month. Final parting. Search your library for 2 cards. Put 1 card in your hand, the other card into your graveyard. Yeah, I think what we'll end up doing is if we end up just going Force of Will on Glissa, I think that'll be fine. So, but yeah, so I ended up taking like 4 weeks off from doing channel stuff, and it was a really nice way to kind of just mentally reset and kind of reboot the channel. Not hard reboot, but you know, there's a couple different things like these tokens. You know, I've wanted to do that for a long time, and there's a lot of cool things that. We can apply to a token, and I don't know, just kind of have fun with it. So, all right, so we don't hit the land for the turn. I think we still just end up going Monastery Mentor. I think that'll be good. So either way, we're going to have to take some damage. Let's go and go for Talisman. That way our opponent's not tempted to, you know, blow up that Talisman and we lose access to Source of Plowshare mana. So let's have Monastery Mentor come down. And then next turn, what we're going to try to do is get down Impact Trimmers, because that'll, you know, if this ends up being kind of a grindy game, that'll really allow us to, you know, build up a nice board state, or at least kind of slowly start attacking our opponent's life total into, you know, transitioning us to hopefully like some sort of alpha strike. But we're actually in a pretty good spot right now. We've got Swords to Plowshare on Glissa if it comes down on some pieces of equipment, and then we also do have Force of Will to kind of counter whatever they ended up tutoring for. So now they did grab Mimic Vat. Okay, so I think we're okay with that. They've got 4 cards in the hand. I'd much rather leave Force of Will or Arcane Denial for something else, and then that puts us in a position to where Unified Will can also be kind of be an asset to us. So, yeah, I think we'll just kind of let that go through. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 Swiftfoot Boots. So if we let that go through, that's going to allow them to go for Glissa. Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's go and go Force of Will. Let's go and Force of Will. We're going to counter that and then exile Arcane Denial at this point, because that keeps us open on Unified Will, and it also kind of keeps us open on this Swords to Plowshare, because if we have to play around a Swiftfoot Boots the entire time, doesn't sound that fun. So. Yeah, I think counter is going to be a good option on that one, because there's just going to be a lot of really good equipment for Glissa, and especially with her having such a low converted mana cost, it's going to make it pretty easy for them to keep rolling her out turn after turn. So, all right, there we do. Finally run into a lane. Let's have Command Tower come down. Let's go Impact Trimmers, and that keeps us open on pretty much whatever we want to do, because that's going to be Swords to Plowshare and then Unified Will. So that's going to be perfect. So let's have Impact Trimmers come down. You can see how good Monastery Mentor is in a deck like this. The fact that it's just simply a non-creature spell. It's almost kind of like the second commander for the deck, which is a pretty nice feeling. So let's go ahead and push in Monk. And I think we're at a position now to where we can kind of start to be aggressive on this one. So let's go and push in. That's going to be 4 coming across, and especially with Impact Trimmers on the battlefield, that's going to be really good for us. So Let's go and swing across for 4. That's one of the fun things about playing Kykar is that it's just such a fun build. You know, even if we're kind of strapped on lands, you can see that we're almost becoming the aggressor in this particular match. I mean, just the fact that you can just tag along an extra monk token with prowess for Swords to Plowshares or Unified Will, it's just a great time. One of the other things, yeah, I guess let's go and go Glissa, because that's going to be their entire turn next turn. Yeah, because that also kind of keeps us open on Swords to Plowshare. One thing that I do like to mention about, all right, Potus going to scoop it up on this one. So sometimes with these Kykar games, once you're in a position to kind of lock the game down, that's kind of where you're going to be able to go for. So we go Unified Wield on Glissa. That's going to send her back to the command zone and get that commander tax. Let's say our opponent goes for her again next turn. We still have Swords to Plowshare. And then with Impact Trimmers, we're going to be able to slowly kind of grind the game out. So good game to our opponent. It's always nice to kind of close it out with a Monastery Mentor. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Meren. As far as our opening, man, if we had one more land, or this was a black source, I would keep, but if we don't hit a land, this does not sound that good. So let's go and mulligan on this one, and that's going to be 2. Yeah, this will work. We've got some pretty good options in here. Got some card advantage. We've got Satyr. We've got a Tutor in Worldly Tutor. And I think at this point, actually, I don't mind putting the Tutor back, because everything else is going to work out. I mean, I guess we could grab a Mana Dork. We've already got Deathrite Shaman, so let's just put Worldly Tutor back on the bottom of our library. Let's go and lead off with the Windswept Heath. I think, yeah, that'll be fine. Grab ourselves a Bayou. We'll go for old Deathrite Shaman over there, get that down, and then we will jump into covering commanders in just a second. So let's go Deathrite Shaman for green, and then anything else past the turn over our opponent. But yes, welcome to some Meren. Hope you're excited to get some good Golgari graveyard action going today. That is what is on the Golgari menu. So whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. Then at the beginning of your end step, choose target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. And it looks like we're off to some pretty cool turn 1 mana dorks. I really enjoy that. Let's have Prismatic Vista come down, and I think we can't go for a Sad Robot yet, but we'll go and crack that, and let's grab ourselves a Black Source. And we're going to go ahead and exile Arid Mesa out of our opponent's graveyard. Let's add black. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go for Read the Bones. I really like being able to go for a turn 2 Read the Bones. That sounds pretty. Ooh, and then Entomb for Life from the Loam. Sign me up. So let's go ahead and leave. Let's put Deep Forest Hermit on the bottom, and we'll put Entomb on top of our library. Yeah, that'll be good. Oh, the run it a Doom Whisperer too. Anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. Play gets Rafik of the Many. Exalted, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. So let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to get yourself one of those souvenir floating green skulls from your visit to Meren Land today, head over to MTGOTraders. They got a bunch of them over there. You can buy them from your family for, Gilded Drake. I guess we'll take that. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but a little bit of a bummer. Because that would have been, so nice with Sad Robot. Let's have Marsh Flats come down, and I think there's a certain way we want to sequence this. All right, well, we got ourselves a Gilded Drake. Let's go and push him for 3. We are angry. It's like getting a 3/3 Beast token, let me put it that way. All right, so we're going to swing it for 3, and let's put them down to 26, and then I guess at this point, we can Satyr and Entomb. I think that sounds pretty good. All right, so let's go and crack Marsh Flats. Let's grab ourselves Overgrown Tomb. We're going to go and shock this one in, be a little bit aggressive. Let's go for Satyr. And then we're going to look at the top 4 cards of our library. Let's grab ourselves a Woodland Cemetery. Now, with Entomb, we can put a creature card into our graveyard, or we can just go for Life from the Loam. I'm just not super wild about getting picked off turn after turn. Yeah, because they're going to have green. They're going to be able to pick off our creatures. But there's not really good creature cards in the graveyard at this point right now. So let's do this. Let's just go and pass the turn. We're going to hold off on Entomb because either way, they have an open Deathrite Shaman. That's going to allow them to really kind of do some bad stuff, especially whatever we decide to Entomb. Yeah, because even if we Entomb from Life from the Loam, we're going to have to fight around it the whole time. So we need to try to set up something, or even we might just end up having to hold on to Entomb and then go for Doom Whisper or something like that. So yeah, be sure to check out MTGOTraders. Also, quick shout out to ingaming.com. You can go to ingaming.com/jolt, and that will apply the coupon code. So if you haven't treated yourself in a long time, make sure that you do. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So there we go. Let's have some fun. Woodland Cemetery allows us to go for Meren. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. So let's go Meren. Because at the very least, we'll at least be able to kind of get some experience counters going, and then it kind of makes it hard for our opponent to kind of get around that. Now, if they've got counter magic, they've got it. That's fun. Tapping out for a pretty good chunk of mana. Let's see what this is. That's going to be 5 total mana. Okay, so it's going to be Mystic Confluence, return it back to the hand, cash in a card. Look at that value for 5. No, we're not going to be able to pay for that. That's going to send Mystic Confluence back to their hand, or at least send Gilded Drake back to their hand. And then that is going to be a very rough start for us. So we've got, we don't really want to swing in for 1 because that's going to be pretty rough. So we'll go and pass the turn. But it's officially free time. We can have some fun. But our opponent's going to be getting some, that gilded Drake. Being able to just bounce it back and keep stealing stuff. Oh, that is that is a magic card right there. So, all right, so we've got, let's see what's going to be swinging in. Looks like we've got Finhorn Elf swinging in. That will be exalted, double exalted, and double strike. So we've got ourselves a pretty nice little Finhorn Elves. It's going to be swinging in for a 3/3. If we could rip into something like Toxic Deluge or Damnation, that would be a pretty good bet for us. I kind of do like the thought of that, but let's see. Let's see what we rip. At the very least, we've got Sad Robot to go for. That'll be an extra card draw. We can start chump blocking on these creatures, and so let's give that. Well, and then they might end up grabbing that. So yeah, let's go for Sad Robot because at least we'll get some sort of enter the battlefield value once it enters. And then that way we can at least get a land onto the battlefield. And if they want to steal it, they can steal it, but that'd have to be some card draw. So let's grab ourselves a forest that's going to enter the battlefield. Let's go for, I guess, Hissing Quagmire, simply because either land's going to come into play tapped. And then we will pass the turn over to our opponent. Now, it's been a little bit since we played Meren. As far as this build of Meren, this is pretty basic build. It's kind of more of a token build of Meren. We don't necessarily have, super competitive build of Meren. That's not really what we're going for. I mean, it is competitive. I put it in the 75% range or a little bit lower than that. But, what we're trying to do is basically just get a lot of these creatures out there, get those experience counters going, and get some pretty cool tokens going. That's kind of the name of the game. So, our opponents, this board is ripe for a board wipe. Hopefully, the Magic Gods treat us well. We can draw into it, and that would be a pretty good feeling. And so now, especially with Umaza's Jitte out there, that is just going to be really hard for us to kind of assemble any sort of board state, especially that double strike, because that's going to be 4 counters on Jitte, and that's probably going to be a good game. So let's see what we rip into. It's going to put us down to 10 commander damage, 7 total life total, and then they can basically just pick apart our board state now. Let's see. We do not run into a board wipe. So good game to our opponent. Unfortunately, they're going to get it on this one. That's just kind of name of the game. That early Gilded Drake really changed this game, and that's the way Magic goes sometimes. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.